Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Survivor podcast discussion. Today we're covering episode 8. Firstly, right off the bat, we now know what the merge tribe name is. It's Viacana. There was a secret scene that they released of them coming up with the name. It was Erica that researched some Fijian language and found the word for hungry is Viacana. She wanted to name the tribe that because it was something they all had in common, that they're hungry, and it could have led to a pretty funny scene where Jeff asks what their name is, and they'd all say that they're hungry. Just a funny little moment in the secret scene there. And it's a good tribe name, I think. So let's get into the recap. We start with the aftermath from the previous tribal council. Evie is at the bottom is trying to recover their relationships with everyone else. We get a bunch of flashbacks as a replacement for a previously on segment. I think that was a pretty good way of showing what previously happened. Tiffany and Xander are also trying to get into the good graces of everyone else. But Deshawn, Heather, and Erica are shown not buying any of it. They just see it as pathetic, them groveling for some type of place to stand in the rest of the game. We then go to the challenge, and Jeff gets a little one-on-one time with the camera where he hides an advantage on the sit-out bench. They draw rocks to choose teams, and one person will draw a gray rock to sit out. Once again, Erica draws the gray rock, and the other teams are also weirdly similar to the last time they divided. But Xander volunteers to switch with Erica so that she would have a chance at playing this time, and he would be giving up his chance at a grilled cheese sandwich, which was their reward. I did find out since the episode that Xander actually doesn't eat. I don't know if it was gluten or cheese or something in grilled cheese sandwiches, but there was more of a reason for why he wouldn't have even wanted the reward than what is shown in the episode. We see Xander look a little bit for the advantage while he's sitting on the bench, but he doesn't find it. So the winning team ends up being Danny, Ricard, Evie, Erica, and Deshawn. Evie had practiced this exact challenge after seeing it on Edge of Extinction and knew exactly how to complete the puzzle at the end as soon as they got started on it. We go back to their camp. The losers are feeling really bad about not getting food. Shan and Liana in particular are very upset. They discuss targeting Evie due to them being dangerous, especially after what they showcased at the previous challenge. Nasir goes and finds papayas for them to eat, and I love Nasir's attitude here. He's not too worried about them losing grilled cheese sandwiches. That's something they can eat all the time when they get home. So he just wants to go out and find them something else they can eat, and he does a good job finding the papayas. The winners then come back and they see the papaya, and Ricard tries a bite of one of them, and this angers Shan. Ricard is worried that even though him and Shan are close allies, him winning these rewards might cause some resentment between him and Shan, that Shan would resent him for it. We then go to the immunity challenge, where Jeff gives them a chance to negotiate a certain amount of them to sit out in exchange for rice for 3 days. Shan negotiates for 5 to sit out, but only Shan and Nasir volunteer. So Xander negotiates that if they can get to 4, he would get it down to only 4 sitting out. He would volunteer, and Jeff agrees with this. So then him and Ricard sit out so they can get the rice. This is the challenge where they have to stand on their tippy toes and keep a block between their heads and a board above them. It only lasts for 4 minutes, the shortest that this challenge has ever gone, and Evie wins it in the end. We go back to their camp. The plan was Evie, so now plans have to change. They decide to split between Xander and Tiffany, hoping to get Xander's idol out. Danny brings up going for Nasir instead, while he feels safe so that he wouldn't play his idol. But Shan immediately shoots this down, which upsets Deshawn because he feels like he isn't being heard by her, and they're just being told to listen to what Shan wants them to do. They tell Xander that they're voting for Nasir, but once Nasir finds out, he doesn't like it, so he wants them to switch it to Heather. So again, they go to Xander and tell him it's Heather that they're going for, which puts Xander and Tiffany on edge, that they keep changing it. It makes them think that it might be one of them. But once Heather finds out it's her, she also panics. We then go to Tribal Council, where everyone seems to be uncertain if they are safe. They think that it could blow up at any second. Jeff leads them to start the vote, but then Heather starts whispering, and it seems like she could be blowing up her own position in the game because everyone had a plan, and now she's trying to switch it to be on Nasir instead of on her, the backup. And so it sounds like from the whispering that they're all going to vote for Heather instead because she's just throwing the game out like that. But Deshawn doesn't agree with this and again feels like Shan is shutting him down. They go to vote. Nobody plays an idol. And then Tiffany is voted out 6-2-2-1, with the other votes going to Xander, Heather, and Nasir. So my thoughts on Tiffany. At the start, I was uncertain about her, but she really grew on me as it went. I thought she was going to be an early vote out, since she couldn't seem to keep up with the pace of the game and seemed a little bit lost at the start. But she showed that wasn't the case, and she was much more aware socially than I originally gave her credit for. She really shouldn't have been voted out here, as it would have made more sense to pile the majority votes on Xander and either get him out or flush his idol. But maybe the lack of food caused a lapse in judgment. But I think she'll make an excellent first jury member. And I'm excited for her question. I feel like she'll have something entertaining. So my review for this episode, after the craziness of last episode, this was a much calmer episode. And it really felt more like normal Survivor, like old school Survivor. There was talk about like food and like being hungry and the faux pas of if you win a reward, should you get food back at camp too? I like the flashbacks as a new way to have a previously on segment, though I could see them being a bit of an issue if someone's just going to binge watch the entire series at the end. But I do think for this week-to-week thing, it's a good way of having the previously on without having an outright previously on segment. I even liked Jeff talking to the camera a bit more this time than in the past times when he's done it. I don't know if it's just I'm becoming more used to it or if he's getting better at it. I don't really know what it is, but it didn't feel as out of place this time. Evie had a great episode, winning both challenges, but I do think that the way that she won the reward challenge by practicing it ahead of time may be problematic if that's what they're pushing for people to do. After she did that, Jeff said to the camera, like, that's how you do it for future players, which I don't really like because that creates a greater barrier for entry for new contestants if they're expected to practice these challenges ahead of time. But no fault of Evie's, because if you have the ability to do that, you should do it. I just think that maybe production should look to finding new challenges each season if they can. I think that some of the drama in this episode was slightly exaggerated, and I doubt things like Ricard having a bite of papaya is going to come back to haunt him. there were quite a bit of theatrics at the end, uh, with making it uncertain who they're voting for and all the whispering, just for Tiffany to end up getting voted out in an unspectacular fashion. Overall, though, I'd give this episode a 7 out of 10. So for my predictions, firstly, since they didn't put the scene of Erica coming up with the name of the tribe in the actual episode, it was just in a secret scene. I think that kind of goes to show that she isn't going to end up winning, because I think if she were the winner, they would have included that scene. Just a good little scene of her being smart, like knowing the Fijian word for hungry and being integral to the naming process for their merge tribe. So I think that helps to rule her out. I know some people were saying since she made it through the merge vote that that puts her in a really good place to win. And I think she's in a better place, but I don't think that she's going to win. So this episode does paint a different light on some of my favorites. Last week, obviously, I thought that Tiffany was in a great place, but that changed very quickly, obviously. I also now don't think Shan is in as good of a spot, since Deshawn is clearly unhappy with her. But if they continue working together, them fighting could actually work for them, by making it seem like they wouldn't ever be working together. Heather also seemed to be unhappy with Shan taking so much control of the tribe. But I do think Ricard is actually in a decent spot by being on the right side of the numbers, but also not having too much attention on him. Evie looked good in this episode, but it seems they're being targeted to go next if they can, unless things change up. If they keep going for other people, Xander might actually be able to last a long while. And if he can pull off some immunity wins, he might just make it through to the end. As it stands, I still think Shan is going far, though her likelihood of winning has gone down. And Deshawn still seems to be in a pretty great position. A lot of people seem to like working with him and want to be in an alliance with him, so I think that's good for him. That's all I got for this episode. It was a pretty good one, and I can't wait for the next one. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe.